All right, let me put my little glasses on since I'm going to be staring at the screen for quite some time. So, oh wait, let me try and clean them. Goodness. All right, so this live I'm doing, I know a lot of people have been asking about dating here, abroad, anywhere. Hold on. Trying to get this. Okay. All right. So, dating abroad, I wanted to do a live because people are always asking, what's it like dating? What's it like dating in Portugal? What's it like dating abroad? And I just wanted to talk about a few things. I know I briefly touched on it on some of my other YouTube videos, but some people did not like what I had to say about dating. And the video wasn't even about dating. It was just like, where have I been, what I've been up to, and everything. So let's get into it. If you're just not joining, definitely let me know where you are watching from. I am trying to do these every Tuesday at 9 p.m. because that's the time that I have the most time in my schedule. And I really don't have time anymore as much as I did to film and then edit and then upload. And it just takes me a few weeks at a time just to get into it. All right, so I actually made a note section on my phone, and I literally have people's names, people that I have gone on dates with, and stories that I want to share. I think it's about 13 different stories. Some may be shorter than others, some may be honorable mentions. Yeah, so a little bit about me. So, my name is Heather Courtney. I've had this YouTube channel since 2018 when I decided that I was going to travel the world with my daughter. We ended up traveling the world, and then I kind of wanted to focus on travel, lifestyle, and parenthood. So on my YouTube channel, you can find a little bit of everything, some videos on when I was going to school, stuff for veterans, and just stuff, keeping up with me and what I'm doing here in Portugal under Black in Portugal and the Lisbon Collective, and just some other things I have going on in my life. So I have been single since 2011, I want to say. And it's not single by choice, I would want to say. I think my last relationship was right around the time I was getting my divorce. I had already been separated for since 2008. I was separated, and my divorce was final in 2011. And there was a guy I was dating. He was an amazing guy, and things just didn't work out between us, which is fine. Things don't work out. We lived together and everything, and then since that relationship, everything has gone downhill for, to say with dating. So in the States, I did try to date people, but it really never worked out. I kind of like was in the mindset of wanting to be a full-time parent since I was, solo parenting. And I also wanted to make sure, the time that I did have with my daughter, like I spent it with my daughter. And the other times I did not have my daughter, I was, deployed. So when I decided I was going to leave America, I decided that I was going to try to date again once I get settled. So I moved to Mexico, 2021, January 2021. And actually, let me do one thing on my. I always forget to do this. I need to do a setting on my YouTube channel really quickly. So I moved to Mexico and I decided, let me try out these dating things. I tried Plenty of Fish. I tried Facebook dating. I tried, I don't even know what other dating sites were out there at the time. So when I get to Mexico, I'm settled in. I'm just like, let me see what the dating scenes are like. Being in Merida, like I'm tall. I'm 5'8", 5'9", and people, I'm taller than a lot of people, a lot of the men there. A lot of the Mexican and Mayan men are shorter than me. But I was like, you know what, that it shouldn't, deter me from, trying to date. So I had met this one guy, and we're gonna call him George. I think his name was George, something like that. Jorge. Sorry, Jorge. And he was cool, he had a lot of tattoos. And he told me he was a single parent, which is fine. I'm a single parent too. And we were talking and everything. And then one day we were FaceTiming, and he pretty much put his kid on the phone and was like, "Oh, this is your new stepmom." And it really took me back because I don't think you should introduce a stranger to your kids as their new stepmom. I think that that really confuses them. Also, I think that another thing that I just didn't like was that he was always wanting me, like, to come over, meet his family and blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, we haven't even, like, had our first date or anything yet? So, when it came time for our first date, he pretty much wanted to bring the kids with him. He had 2 little girls, 2 beautiful little girls, and I was just taken back, and I was just like, no, I don't think that I want to entertain this because it's just really too soon to get kids involved, or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. On to the next one. So I met this other dude named Javier, and it's weird how I met Javier because I was talking to his friend on one of the dating apps. And by the way, these are all in Spanish, and my Spanish is not the greatest. Like, I know enough to get by and to converse a little bit, but it's not that great. So his friend was like, "Oh, I have someone I think that you would be more interested in. Here's his number." I'm just like, "Okay." So me and Javier, we talked, we chatted, and he was another great person that I would consider, to date. But the thing about it is Javier didn't make time. And sorry, Javier, if you're watching this, but it's the truth. You didn't make time. You were always working. But what was good about that friendship was that he was able to practice his English. I could practice my Spanish. We would voice each other with different voice memos on Telegram, and it was all working out. So fast forward, I found out I was leaving Mexico, and I was like, I'm coming to Portugal. I want to try out the dating scene again. So I got back on Hinge, not Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, and I think there was another one that I had got on. And there were plenty of people. There were a lot of people that were just looking for just like one night stands, which is something like I'm not interested in at all. I think that the first person that I interacted with, he seemed very cool, but then he wanted me to send him a lot of feet pictures, and I really wasn't into that. I didn't want my feet just floating around the internet for free, and I kind of just cut him off. So the actual first person I went on a date with, we're going to call him French Bay, as all my friends know him as, and we met on Tinder. And I remember the night that we had talked, he was like, "Oh, do you want to hang out?" But I actually couldn't hang out because I was with my friend and I wasn't dressed to meet anyone. We were going to like a crypto meetup or some type of meetup like that. And I was like, "Cool, we can meet up another time." So I met up with this guy, very good looking, from Martinique, grew up in France, and I really did like this guy. And we're still friends, today to this day. This is like almost 2 years later. And what I appreciated from the jump from him is that, he told me that he wasn't really looking for a relationship, just for, I guess, someone to kick it with. And, just him being upfront from the jump made me like him even more. That, he, was just upfront. He wasn't trying to play games. He wasn't, trying to give me the runaround or anything. So over the past almost 2 years now, we just been like, casual on and off, not so much on off, but I see him, I don't see him, he's gone, I'm gone. But when we are back in the same city, like we actually do try to play catch up. So that was actually the most hopeful relationship. friendship dating person that I met. Let's see, I talked about Javier, I talked about Dude with the Kids. So one of the other first people that I met here in Lisbon was a chef, and I met him also on Tinder. And he had picked me up from the mall one day. I was also not dressed to go on a date or anything like that. I had like on like one of those tight dresses, kind of short. I was at the mall shopping. So he picked me up and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do some running around with me for my restaurant?" And I'm just like, "Okay, sure." So we go to Macro, which is like the equivalent of like a Sam's Club or a Costco. And we go shopping, we pick up all this stuff or whatever. We make a pit stop at like a pastry spot, and he is like introducing me to all these Portuguese pastries. And from there, we go to his restaurant. He owned a nice little restaurant here in Lisbon. And I go, and he cooks for me this amazing meal. It was like shrimp. He's Portuguese, by the way, but he spent some time in different parts of Mexico. So we had the shrimp with some type of mole sauce, and he had like some fresh melon drink that was super, super good. And I thought things were going good. I didn't understand some of his sense of humor because I think it's just like a cultural difference. But things were going good up until one day I had sent him a message because I saw people on one of the Facebook groups were asking for a good Mexican restaurant, and people had recommended his restaurant. So, I screenshot it, but in that screenshot, there was someone that said, "Oh, his prices are too high," or something like that. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, "Yo, people are hyping up your restaurant, it's good." But he took it so bad and negative. He was just like going off and on and getting upset about the bad review. But I'm just like, the focus wasn't the bad review. The focus was the good review. So I kind of just like fell back because I'm just like, if you're getting upset over what a stranger has said about your restaurant because your prices were too high for them, then I don't think this type of relationship, friendship could work. So I actually had not talked to him in a long time. I know that you definitely watch my Instagram stories all the time, and you just never say hi at all. You just watch, but that's okay. I hope that we cross paths again and you can cook me another amazing meal. All right, moving forward. So I'm not discriminating on any type of race, ethnicity. I'm very open at this point. If you have a good vibe, it doesn't matter what you look like, or where you come from or anything like that. So I met this Asian guy from Pakistan, and I met him before I got to Portugal. I met him while I was in Mexico, and things were okay, but he kept like asking questions that would irritate me. Like I'll be like, okay, well, I just got in. I am going to watch a movie for the rest of the night. And then he'll follow up with, oh, so what are you doing for the rest of the night? And I'm just like, I just told you what I was doing. I'm doing nothing but watching a movie. So fast forward, we finally met in Portugal. He also owns a restaurant. My nose is itching real quick. Sorry, guys. Um, he also has a restaurant here in Lisbon, and we decided we were going to meet. So I first see him, and I'm like super shy, and I like cross the street into this light store. And I'm just like, okay, let me just go meet this guy. He was good looking. So I'm just like, okay, so let's go eat because I was going to do Naki's African Lisbon tour, and I was just in the area. So he said, well, what's around here? I said, well, I don't know. I just got here. So we look at other places, and he's just like, no, why don't you just go to my restaurant? So I'm just like, okay, let's go to your restaurant. So I go to the restaurant. I meet his uncle, his cousin, his brother, the whole family worked there. And he's like, okay, well, this is good. This is good. This is good. I was like, look, I don't need a big meal. All I need is something very small because I'm about to walk and I'm gonna go eat after. So I get this delicious meal. He's like going like between my table and like talking to his family for whatever reason, maybe business stuff. So when it's time to leave, he's sitting down, he's asking me, oh, when can I see you again? And I'm telling him like these are the days that I'm available. And he's just like, okay, but what about this day? And I'm just like, no, I just told you I'm not available this day. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna get up and leave, "Thank you for the free food. I appreciate you. Hope to see you again one of these days." But he brings me the check personally. Like, he literally brings me the check. And, I'm just like, "But you invited me here to your restaurant, and now you want me to pay for this food?" I'm just like, "Okay, whatever." So I paid. It was like 10 euros. It wasn't much. The food was really good, not gonna lie. It was good. Barbecue tonight over in Baixachiado. If you haven't gone, it's good. But it just kind of really turned me off that you invited me to your restaurant, but now you want me to pay for the food. So that was like kind of the last I heard of him. I actually blocked him from my phone because I was just really irritated about that. I think that I was gonna eat somewhere else, but you personally invited me to some place that you own, co-own, you work, you're the manager, your family owns, and I had to pay, which I personally did not care for. So if you're watching, definitely let me know where you are watching from and tuning in from. And I hope you guys are enjoying some of these stories that I'm going into. It's going to get better, trust me. I'm trying to, get through the short based ones. Let's see. So there was a guy that I met. I used to do photography for a football team here, and I was introduced to like half the football team, whatever. But there was a one guy that was particularly interested in me. He was from Egypt. He was doing some type of master's program here. He played the football team, and he was interested in me. He was 29, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm like 35 at the time, maybe 36. So I liked him, except for the fact for a few things. One, he was not going to be here long in Portugal, and I really was not interested in doing like a long distance relationship at that time. And two, um, he did not have financial stability, which, for me being the age I am, I would want someone that has financial stability. I don't think he had a job. I just think he went to school and he played football. Um, but he was like really touchy, like always wanting to kiss me, always wanted to be super, super, super affectionate. And I just did not like that. I think because I didn't like it because it was just so soon. Like, it was just like really soon. So we was at this was like the Super Bowl game last year, and I remember one of my friends had ordered a pizza, and it was, me and her sharing a pizza. And he was basically like begging for a slice of pizza. And I'm just like, I have no problem sharing, but you saying, he was like, oh, I'm a baby, so you should feed me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, no, I don't like this. So then we went on another date, and he had picked out the place, which I appreciate. But then we get to the place and he didn't like make a reservation. So at this point, he's like begging the owner of this place to let us have our own like little section, like a lookout point. So I'm just like, okay, we don't have to say, like, we don't have to be at this lookout point. So he begged and begged and begged, and then we finally sat there. And we talked and talked about his family and everything. And it was nice. And we went on one more date. And this time, it just really annoyed me that why, you're wanting to date me. I have no problem paying. I'd have no problem paying. Like, that's not an issue or whatever. But I think if you invite me out and then you don't say, hey, we can do like, you pay this time, I pay next time, or we do half and half or anything, I'm just going to expect that you're going to pay. So we went to a little pizza spot called Lupitas, and we got pizza. And I pay. He was expecting me to pay because he's like, he didn't have any money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, ugh, all right, dude, whatever. So I think that was like getting close to the final straw. Like, I really give people the benefit of the doubt, and I know I shouldn't, but I did. So the last straw was we were supposed to go out to some museum, whatever. I like to get to places on time. So we were gonna meet at the metro and he lived closer to the metro. So I get there early and I call him and I'm just like, okay, hey, I'm here. Where are you at? He was like, oh, I'm on the way, which I knew he wasn't on the way because it just sounded like you were still at home. So I wait. Like 20 minutes pass and I'm still waiting. So I'm about to get on the metro and he finally shows up. And at this point, I'm just like over it. Like, I don't even want to go nowhere. So I make up this excuse. I'm just like, yo, my stomach hurting. I don't feel good. I'm gonna just go into this bathroom and like sneak out somewhere. So he's trying to find me a bathroom. I'm just like, okay, I know where there's a bathroom at. I'll be okay. I will see you another time. But he was so persistent in following me to this bathroom. So we went to McDonald's, and here I am hiding in the McDonald's, hoping that there's like another exit door, on the other side. And no, there's not. So he's waiting and waiting. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell him I'm gonna go home. I don't feel good. Meanwhile, I was actually going to the mall. So I was like, yeah, I don't feel good. I'm going to go home. So he was like persistent in coming home with me, making sure I was good. And I don't like people knowing where I live. Like, I really don't. I'm very particular, being um, a woman with another young woman in the household. I really don't want men knowing where I live at. So I'm just like, no, 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 you don't have to. I'm texting my friend, like, yo, this dude who's like really wants to make sure like, I get tucked in. I'm good. And I'm just like, I don't even want all this. So we get in the cab. I'm over here like Googling remedies for upset stomach and everything. And we get back to my house, but I don't put the address into my actual house. I put it like at this Auction down the street, which is like a grocery store. So we go in there and I'm just like grabbing remedies for my upset stomach. And I'm just like, yo, I'm good. Thank you so much. I am an adult. I do not need you to tuck me in, but thank you. So he leaves the store. I leave the store. I kind of like do like a quick cut around the corner and he's gone. Whatever. So I think on Thursdays, because I used to go to the football practices Tuesdays and Thursdays, and a friend, she was the wife of one of the coaches, and she was basically, telling her what happened, and then he was trying to come over and talk to me, and she was like, "Nope, you blew your chance." And then that was the last thing I heard from him. And he also never gave me my perfume because he said that he wanted to see me again and wanted to smell like me, something like that. He said it was weird. So I didn't talk to him. I think he's somewhere in Italy in school right now. I'm wishing him the best of luck with his studies in engineering. But he also played the saxophone. He was a really good saxophone player. All right. So another guy I met when I was in the process of, his name is George, and I'm still friends with George, by the way. So this guy I met also on a dating app, and he was really cool. He is from Denmark, I think, Denmark, the Netherlands, and he's Indonesian. He's like a nice little twist to him. And we met and we kicked it off, and he was great, and he helped me in so many ways, prepared to come to Portugal. And we get to Portugal and we finally meet. This is like, I think like a month after I'm here. I'm like, I'm excited to meet this guy. We meet at a park by his house and he actually brings me food. If you guys are tuning in, definitely let me know where you are watching from. He made me like, oh, he had like a salad, like a pizza salad, like they call it rocket here. Arugula and some other things. It was nice. We sat at the park and shared a soda and everything. And then he showed me where he lived at. She showed me his mean ass cat because that cat was mean. And then we went and got some pastries and like something, drink some more Portuguese stuff. So he was really cool. So I invited him over one day to help me build some furniture because I just did not have it in me to put together any more furniture. So I'm just like, thank you for putting together furniture. I will cook you a home cooked meal. Y'all know I love to cook. Anyone that comes to my house, y'all know that I love, love, love to feed people. So I'm in the kitchen cooking and I ask him, has he ever tried a cream soda? And I think it's like, no. So I give him a glass of cream soda. And in the midst of him drinking the cream soda, I go back into the kitchen to finish cooking. And he pretty much dropped the glass and broke the glass shattered. So I was like, okay, whatever, brand new IKEA glasses. Um, yeah, so it came to eat dinner. I made like some salmon, like something really, really, really nice. So he insisted on wine because he brought wine and something. Um, so I didn't have a wine opener. You know, my wine opener mysteriously went missing from the time I left the old apartment, moving into the new apartment. So he insisted that he would open it with a knife. Okay, so let's put two and two together. Wine normally has pressure in it, and you using a knife probably is not going to have a good result. So here we are in my kitchen, all white walls, brand new apartment, red wine, and he has the wine in between his legs and he's taking a knife, like jabbing in. He's like, "Don't you know how to open wine bottles? You were in the Navy." I'm just like, yo, we drink hard liquor. Like wine is, we're not worried about wine. So he jabs it one good time. Wine went all over my face, all over the walls, and all I could do was just look there. Like, I was beyond mad. Like, I don't think that I could actually say anything. I was just really mad. So I felt that he felt really bad. So I'm just like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. So I'm trying to wipe it off the walls. And I have like a Mr. Clean magic eraser. I'm trying to like get off the walls. The walls just stay. It looks like periwinkle now. So we go back and finish eating, and the dinner was very dull because I was highly annoyed, and he felt bad. And he offered to get like painting supplies. He offered to, get me some new um, cups. So that was actually one of the last times that I saw George, because I was really mad and really annoyed at that point in time. But then over time, I got over it. And then we actually ended up running into each other at the bank one day. I was sitting, he was bypassing, and he saw me and we chatted. But we actually still talk. Like we physically have not seen each other because our schedules like just don't, connect. But definitely a good person. I definitely had a good experience with our interactions besides the wine thing. I think he is a great guy, and he has a nice brand called Gemini um, on Instagram, doing big things with his brand. All right. Okay. So one of my friends would send me profiles of men that she was not interested in. And it was the most hilarious things because some of these men were good looking, and good to know we're not swiping right on the same person. So this one dude, Dominican dude, lived in Spain. He was here in Lisbon. I don't remember his name, something Hispanic. So I met him. I like to put in, depending on how the conversation is going, I will put in more effort or less effort. This dude was like, "Hey, I want to meet tonight. Where can we meet?" So of course I meet at a park close to my house. So we meet there. He seems to be like cool, kind of a little different than the photos, but cool. So we meet at a park and then we go to dinner. We walk down the Grasa and we pick a place, and things are going okay, but some things are not making sense. His profile, he said one age, then he told me a different year, then he said something about his daughter, and then he was like trying to kind of like Iana Vazant me and like self-help me. And I just really did not appreciate that. But I'm just like, maybe it's a cultural difference, cultural difference. So we had dinner. He like picked a few things, and I don't know if we like split it or he paid for it. I don't remember, but we ended up going on another date. So he was like, "Hey, do you like this type of food? Brazilian barbecue." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I like it." So this was during COVID time. So in Portugal, a lot of places, if you did not have a digital vaccine in the SNS, it was like an app that had a QR code, places were not letting you in unless you took a COVID test right there on the spot. Even if you're like the American card, like they didn't care about no CDC. They wanted the SNS. So we meet at this place. He's late. You know how I get about being late. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And I go up because the bottom floor didn't have reception. I'm like, "Hey, where are you guys?" Like, "Oh, I'm having trouble outside. They're not taking my my SNS or whatever." And in my head, I'm just like, Didn't you just tell me you had someone Jimmy rig your SNS and put it in the system? So now he has to take a COVID test, which is fine. He takes a COVID test, negative, gets in. So we're eating. And if y'all don't know, I'm bad with math. I'm extremely bad with math. I will have a calculator and the calculations will still be wrong. So it comes to us about to finish up. So at this point, I'm telling him, hey, you're cool. Let me let you meet my friends. We can go out and let me see how you interact with my friends. So the bill comes and he's like, hey, do you want to split the bill? And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm cool with that. And I'm just like, can you just do the math? Because I'm not good with math. So he does the math, he pays. Then it's time for me to pay. So as I'm paying, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're actually paying more money. You're paying more than me. And I'm annoyed. Am I choosing violence? Am I just, it's okay, Heather, it's not the time or place, cause a scene. So I end up paying for his COVID test and I end up paying more than half. So we get in a cab and now we're going to Social B, which is a black owned establishment here, little social bar. And he is asking me, so how did that make you feel when you had to pay more than half, of the bill? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to have a good night tonight. And I was just like, you know what? It happens. I ate, you ate. Sometimes things aren't really that even. So we get to Social B. My friends are there. We have like the up top Social B. That was like the thing when I first got here. Like we just had that spot every time we went. And he's like touching my leg. He's just like really like touchy feely. And my friends are just like, what is going on? So we ended up leaving there. We went to this place called Mapogo's, which is another black owned establishment. It's a lounge. It's chill. So we get there and he's just like doing the most. And I remember one of my friends was, talking to him like, hey, Heather's not just some like average girl, blah, 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 blah. You can't just be doing this and that. You're doing too much. So at this point, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, because in Portugal, we stay out till like 7:30 in the morning. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I'm ready to go. And I'm just like, okay, well, cool. I will see you later. I'm here with my friends. He's like, no, we're going. And I'm just like, who is we? I said, we did not discuss us leaving together. And I said, you live, as I call a group home. He lives with like a whole bunch of flatmates or whatever. I remember he was bragging about his room or whatever. I'm just like, I'm not stupid. I'm not going home with you at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know you like that. And I didn't like how this evening went. So I was like, I'll walk you out to get in your cab. So I walked him out, and that was the end of that. I actually ended up blocking him too. I just think it's the audacity that not only did you purposely have me pay more for the food, you were doing the most, and then you expected me to get in a cab with you and go home with you. No, definitely not going to happen. So I have not heard from him since then, and like I said, definitely on the block list. All right. So in between this time, there was a point in my life here that we were going to the club. The club was a thing. Have not been to the club since December. I've been on my best behavior. And I remember one night I was in the club with my friend and, probably drank a little bit too much. And I was trying to get my friend not to kiss this other guy, whatever, this guy. And in the midst of that, of me trying to make sure she's not kissing this guy, I fell. Like we fell together. We fell on the floor. And I remember this beautiful specimen, this beautiful man had picked me up. Meanwhile, this is like the night is like really hazy, but I remember the videos that I took because everyone takes videos when they're like not 100% sober. And he was like, you know who I am, right? And I'm just like, no, I don't know who you are. He's like, oh, I'm this person. I'm not going to say, what they do. So I'm just like, oh my God, yes, I do know you. Because you know how some people look different outside of uniform. So at this point, we connect that night. And I'm just like, yes, this person, I've talked to them before, they carry themselves well and everything. So we ended up connecting. I went on a date with this person and we actually had a good date, good conversation. I brought my little dating cards out, asked like questions. Like it was really, really good. And so here I am, like shooting myself in the foot, talking about my sister and how she has this super young boyfriend. And we end the date, it's really good. And, we chat and we chat and we chat. But the thing that got me about this person, is that they were young. They wasn't even 20 yet. They wasn't even 21 yet. When I tell you, like, they were introduced to me as being somebody in their 30s. Like, this dude could have passed for being in his 30s or whatever. And the way this person carried themselves was very mature, and that's what I really liked about the conversations was good. Everything was good. The only thing that I can knock it over is the age. Like for them to be 6 years older than my daughter, but let's see, 12, 20. Let's see, 20 years. See, I'm bad with math. Let me do this calculation right now. So he was almost 21, so we'll just say 21 minus 36. 21 minus 36. Oh no, that's see, it says negative 36. 21 minus 36 equals. Okay, so me being 15 years older than him, it just really, the only thing I could do for him was get him out of his mama's house. Like I didn't see where the relationship, if it did escalate to that point, I forgot I had something to drink right here. If it got to that point, could it be something sustainable between us? Uh-oh. Hmm. I still think this person is a great guy. He has so much going for him, and whoever ends up with him, it will be a very, very, very lucky person. Definitely not mentioning their name because I'm still friends with them. But that date was definitely one of the highlights of my dating experiences here in Portugal. All right, going down the list. So I met this Irish dude. Went on a date. He actually was staying in my neighborhood also, and we were talking. He was super cool. He kind of I liked how things were going. So we met and we went on one date. Did we go on two dates? Oh, we went on two dates. Okay. So the first date we went on, we met in Grasa, of course, like down the street from my house. And everything was good. We had intelligent conversations. We talked about racial issues. We talked about everything. It was great. And he went back to Ireland because I don't know, something with his job. He had like go back and forth. And then when he came back, we met up again. We had another day. We met for coffee or whatever. And I thought everything was going good. I thought that I could see where things were going to be going. But he went back to Ireland, and then I didn't hear from him again. I thought about reaching out, but then in my head, I'm just like, if you're interested in me, you would definitely reach out. But then I also felt that if I was really, really interested in him, I would have reached out to see, what was up. So I don't know. He's not blocked from my phone, but I never heard from him ever again. Mm. So this is another wild one. I I meet a lot of people. Literally, I meet a lot of people. And I was hanging out with my friend Naki, and he had somebody with him from a tour. And I was with one of my other friends, and she was like, "Oh, this dude really wants to talk to you, blah blah blah. You should give him a chance." I was like, "No, I don't, no, no, no." So we ended up going to Hernani's, which is another black-owned establishment here, and we ended up at Social Bee. And he was like, "Yo, this dude really wants to take you out for a date or whatever." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, fine, whatever." So this Jamaican dude, good looking, named Duncan, Dustin, something with the D. He loved children, did like a lot of nonprofit work. So we go out on a date, a boat cruise. And he pays for it. Cool. I dress up, nice hair was probably something like this, but my hair is wet right now, so it's a little limp. And I remember us talking, and I remember a few days prior on Instagram, it said, next time you go on a date, ask the person that you're with, can somebody claim you as their partner? And that's what I did. I asked him. I was just like, just out of curiosity, can anyone claim you as, being their partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever? He was just like, yeah, someone back home. So here I am on a boat cruise with a guy that was begging to take me on a date, but has a whole girl back in the States. So I was just like, okay, okay, what's the deal with that? He was like, well, I'm not really happy, blah, 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 blah. She's this, she's that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So here he is saying, you know what? Um, since you're going to be home in the States for the holiday season, I'll fly you down to Florida. We can spend some time together. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, not really banking on it, but we'll see where it goes. So he left Lisbon and we chatted for a few times, and then he just like stopped talking to me. So maybe like a week later, he had messaged me. He's just like, yeah, sorry, I've been quiet. I actually, I'm going to see where things are going to go with the girl that he said was crazy and was doing the most. And yeah, that was it. So I was just like, well, thank you for not wasting my time. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope the girl knows that you was out here dating and, trying to get booed up with somebody in a whole other country. I think men and women can be very sneaky. I think in this day and age, like since we're so connected to so many people through social media, the internet, you have to ask these questions, because you'll never know. You could be dating someone right next door and they can have a whole life, in another country. So there was this German dude. His name is Alex. And I remember talking to him and he was asking me about a size queen. He was like, yeah, you guys call it a size queen in the US. And I'm just like, a size queen? What is a size queen? I'm just like, a queen size bed? He's just like, no, you know what a size. I was like, no, I don't know what a size queen is. I was like, let me look at Google size queen. If y'all don't know what a size queen is, y'all go look up size queen. I was like, I've never heard that term before. So he was very much interested in women who were size queens, and he wanted to do like all this X-ray stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not really want to do one night stands. I'm not into random sexcapades with a person that I don't even know that does not even want to take me out on a date to get to know me. So he hits me up every once in a while, but I just be leaving him on red. He'll call me and be like, hey, babe, what are you doing? I'm just like, blue check marks on WhatsApp. People I find they have like these fetishes, which is fine. But for me, what I'm looking for, I don't want someone to just go into it as, oh, I just have this fetish. I just need to get satisfied with this one thing. For me, I'm just like, I want to get to know a person. If you got that kinky side, yay, okay. But if not, then we can work on it. But I'm about to be 37. Being single since 2011. That's a long time. That's like 15 years. So, oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about Flo, another German dude, and we met at a vegan, gluten-free, no non-BPA, no sugar tea shop. Y'all know me, I love to eat. I'm not a big fan of sweets, but I do like to sweet sometimes, get something sweet. So we meet at this tea shop. I'm drinking this delicious tea that has no sugar, no anything in it. And we're talking, and he is this white guy with hair like Fabio, very easygoing, very soft. And I'm talking to him, and he's telling me he does these retreats. He brings people here to a house, and they work on like personal growth and everything. And yeah, out of nowhere, he's like, Yeah, and I also do BDSM and dominatrix, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And I was just like, "So the people that you bring here, are they part of that too?" He was like, "Yeah, my partner and his girlfriend, we all do it together." And I'm sorry, it really threw me off guard because here we are talking about like tea and like pleasantness and Lisbon, and the next thing you know, it's like, bam, dominatrix. Are you going to dominate me? And I just said, personally, I've never done that. I don't know much about it. I said, I'll try something at least one time, no hurt, no game, but um yeah, the conversation went like that, and then kind of like jump back to tea and gluten free, and thank you for choosing this amazing restaurant that or tea shop that's about to close. So we talked some more, and in my head, I'm just like, flow's not really my type, but actually, what really is my type, because like I said, I haven't dated in a long time. So I'm just like, let me, be open minded and give it a chance, even though he probably wants me to, tie him up and beat him or spank him or whatever. So we end up having another date at this place called Rouge Lisboa, another black owned establishment. Um, and we meet, and he's talking to me, and he went to go like touch my hand, and like it really caught me off guard, and it took me back a little bit. So here he is, he's talking about like he loves black women, and his last girlfriend was black, and blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Can I tell you something?" I'm just like, "Okay, sure." He's like, "I feel like you're not present." And in my head, I'm just like, I feel like I'm very much in present, not like physically present, but like my mindset was present, you know. And I kind of understood what he meant, because sometimes when I'm talking to people, my mind is like 1,000 miles per hour thinking about 5,000 million other things at one time. But for me, I honestly thought that I was giving it my best foot forward. Like I was not, sexually attracted to this person, but I was, interested in who he was and, the things he had to offer. Um, but, we decided that we would not go on any more dates per se, like to pursue each other. And we agreed that maybe in a few weeks, months, we would get back together and just like connect and see where things went. But that was, I think, back in March, and here it is June, and I have not heard from Flo at all. All right, let me see. Who else do we have here? German dude, Jamaican dude, that Dominican guy, Irish guy. Oh my gosh. I tell you, the French dude, French Bay, cooked for me too. He cooked me a meal with his efforts. All right, let's talk about the pilot dude. This, I think this is one of the worst dating experiences that I've had, honestly, since being here in Portugal. Like, it was so bad that I had to block this person from my Instagram. Yeah. So I met a guy, and I don't remember his name. No, he has some Portuguese guy. And we had met, and his name was, I forget his name. It's not even important, his name, but he was a pilot, So I was like, oh, okay, a pilot. So we meet up. He picks me up by my house. I picked a location that was close to my house that I could walk to. And everything's good. He has this really nice car, very well dressed, very good looking, hitting all the, check marks in the box at first, So we go out, he drives us to Cascais, to like this beautiful sunset view. We have food, and it was really, really, it was good. It was good until it wasn't good. So I was finding him making like really, disturbing remarks like, oh, this kid was standing in line with an iPad. He was somewhere. Maybe he was at the airport. I don't know. He was like, oh, that kid's gonna be like an effing idiot. My kid would never have tablets or phones. They would be sitting, outside, and I'll be showing them things. And I'm just like, okay, you kind of see the red flags, but then like you're like, cultural differences. So he starts sending me like videos. He sent me like a lot of animal videos, which I do appreciate. But then he would send me like videos of like black women etiquette. And at first, I really didn't put like two and two together. But then I started to put two and two together. So he had sent me, um, or first off, he was criticizing my cooking. First off, y'all know I love to cook. I'm always cooking. I cooked a meal today. I've never had anyone complain about what I cook on social media. You know, so he was criticizing the type of cream I was using. Because his family lives on a farm and maybe they have fresh cream. I don't know. But I was just like, okay, well, I don't know because this is all I know. So I'm just like, okay, so are you going to tell me the cream I should be using? You know? And he never did. He would just like criticize things and it was getting annoying. So then he would send me stuff about black, like racial stuff with the black community, like black Americans. And I like was not agreeing with it. And I think the thing that the set off was he sent me something about Candace Owens. We all know Candace Owens is very controversial. People have a love-hate relationship with her. I think most people do not particularly care for her. But sometimes she does put out, valid stuff that is like, okay, we understand. So I asked him nicely, I said, hey, can you refrain or just stop sending me stuff around um, Black culture? And I said, I have a love-hate relationship with Candace Owens because some of the stuff that she puts out, I just personally do not agree with. And he just like had went off. He was like getting upset. And he was like, that's wrong with you, Black Americans. You guys are the most ignorantest people I ever met in my life. Um, he was like, you guys are just ass backwards and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you're upset. And then I was explaining, why it bothered me. Like, don't say that Black Americans are the most ignorant person. And he's like, you guys are bringing your racism here to Portugal, and you guys are all your trauma you're bringing here. And I'm just like, but I have a whole platform, a whole community called Black in Portugal, which surrounds the African diaspora. Um, and he was just like going on and on and on. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. So I just like kind of cut things off. But in between that, he wrote me like a 12-page novel. And he was saying, you Black people always complain about slavery and oppression, but what about the white man and the yellow man and everyone that came before you that were enslaved? And y'all always want to blame you guys always want to blame the victim. And he's going on and on. At this point, I had blocked him or restricted him because I still wanted to see what else he had to say that was, really messed up. And he had made a comment because I said, I love, my beautiful Black skin. My skin is beautiful. And he was like, why does it have to be your beautiful Black skin? What if I made a group just for white people? And I'm just like, but y'all have a whole group, y'all have your own thing. Minority races, I feel, need their own safe spaces, not just the Black community, the Latinx community, the Asian community. There are certain traumas that we endure that we need safe spaces where we can talk about that. There are things that I cannot relate to as a Black person, can relate to the Latinx community or to the Asian community. So he's going on and on. At this point, like I just stopped reading. But it really did open my mindset to realize that how we view things, how we are raised, the different traumas, like what we go through in America, is not seen in the same light as it is here in Portugal. I think the Black term, he referenced, kind of like hits a nerve because here, um, what I'm finding is that the people I've talked to, like the people that I interact with that were local Portuguese, they don't see color. We're just people. They don't see color. So with that situation, it sucked because he had a lot of potential, but just like the little comments and then like him, saying disrespectful things about like the women that he worked with, and clearly I dodged a bullet. It was a red flag, and I am so glad that I did not, just look over it or just saw him as, oh, he's a pilot, he has money, and I'll be set. That would have been like years and years of you know horrible relationships. Oh my gosh, I think that was like 13 people. Let's see. Oh, pilot, Jamaican dude, Dominican guy, Irish. George, speed dating. Did not talk about speed dating. Speed dating is one of the things that is kind of like unknown here. I did go to a speed dating event. I went to several speed dating events, but the thing here, what I'm noticing is that there's no the representation of diversity is not yet here when it comes to speed dating, based off of the three speed dating events that I went to. And the speed dating has also the ages too. Either like the guys are like in their 20s, like super young, or they are well over their 50s. There's not like the common balance for 30 to 40-year olds, But I've been asked, like, hey, why don't you do a speed dating event? So I wouldn't mind doing like hosting one. However, it is who is available to date, who wants to genuinely date, who wants to genuinely get to know people and not waste time. That is the thing that is the issue. So I know there is another speed dating event that is coming up with a different group of people. And I actually looked to see, who all was going because most people have profile pictures on their meetups. And I noticed that I didn't see like any diversity at all, and it looked like there was more women than men. So it will be something that I would look into. I'm still open to find my British Caribbean Bay over in London. Um, I don't think I mentioned this. One thing I'm finding is that the men I like don't like me back, or the men that like me, I don't like them back, in that manner. And then I also have like a list of foreverness in my inboxes of men that have been lusting over me and wanting me for years. I was just in Atlanta and one of them called me. This is the same thing. He's love of my life. I'm gonna come marry you. I'm gonna come out and see you. And I'm just like, that ship has long sailed. Like, this isn't Japan anymore. We're not in Virginia anymore. This is like my Navy days. And his friends were like literally telling him, like, yo, she only sees you as a friend. Like, I'll pick up the phone whenever you call and I will talk to you. But outside of me seeing a future with you, it's not there because we're on two totally different pages. And I don't want to live in the States. I do not want to live in the United States. I want to stay abroad for the rest of my life. So to answer you guys' question, dating abroad does have its ups and downs, cultural differences as well. Knowing that, how men approach you, how men might woo you and everything doesn't mean that they're interested in you. Because I've had that too. Like, men will like do the most, like go out their way and pay for stuff and do things like that. And then they have no interest in you. They're just like being nice. Oh man. So on my Instagram page under Heather's Amazing Journey, I think I had 3 highlight stories that have like 100 stories each of them. I think that's like the max you can get in there is 100. And I talk about all these different dating experiences. And there might have been some that I actually missed. There's actually one guy I went on a date with. I won't say his name at all because, um, yeah. But I met him at the club, another club guy, and we went on a date, and then I didn't hear from him. The date was great, definitely a great date. If you're watching this, great date. And recently, he was somewhere that I was at, and I didn't even recognize him. A totally different person, like a 380. And yeah, so who knows? We might reconnect. I don't know. We chatted a little bit since then, but I think it's doable. I think you just have to know what you want and don't settle for anything. And for me, if I gotta be single for the next 5, 10 years, then I don't want to be single for the next 5, 10 years. But I am dating for quality men, men that are financially stable, people that are goal orientated, self motivated, and people that love to travel. So, with that being said, I am going to hop off this live. It's been an hour. Y'all have been hearing about different dating stories I've had. Hopefully, y'all looked up what a size queen was and educated yourselves. Hopefully, you guys are being safe out there on these Tinder sites and Bumble and Hinge and Feddo. I think that's another one. I actually deleted the apps. I'm not on any dating apps right now because they have been not that great for me as far as meeting people that generally want to date and want to pursue a healthy relationship. So if y'all know anyone that is, I know not, use this picture. Oh goodness, another one fell. If you guys know anyone that is single and ready to mingle, there are a lot of beautiful single women out here in Lisbon that are looking for quality men. If you have an accent, bonus points. If you're British, even better. But no, but seriously, like if you are someone that's looking for someone, definitely find me in Lisbon somewhere. There's also, I have plenty of friends that are ready to meet people. And if you want quality women, definitely Lisbon should be your starting point. So I'm gonna cut off this. I will go live again next Saturday. Not Saturday. I think next Tuesday. I'm gonna try to go live again. I might try a different day to see. I know Tuesday is just like the beginning of the week, and a lot of people aren't really logged in during this hour. But you can always catch the replay. So until then, I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.